Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Beacon podcast episode. We're excited about this, and we're going to keep on going and keep the momentum going after our wonderful event on January 21st, where we got to introduce our beacons. And hopefully, you've gotten a chance to meet them because we've got some exciting people in this community who are going to be teaching you for the next year. So we're excited about that. And we're excited to continue this adventure we're on of building this Beacon of Leadership platform. So I'm RJ Horner, Beacon of Life and Leadership, and I'm joined with
Curtis Leong, Beacon of Positivity.
And
Linda Tilson, Beacon of Team Empowerment.
Absolutely. And that is our Beacon team. And we are here for you. We are helping thought leaders to develop and grow and build a business around their mission. We are an institution of fellowship for thought leaders. And again, we're excited about everything that we are bringing you. And so you notice we have a team here. It's not just one person trying to deliver a message and trying to build this out into something that's going to be of service to you. And that's kind of what we're putting together here. We are three people who have a passion and a desire to serve and help leaders become more, to become better. There's never been a better time for leaders to step forward. If you had a desire or a passion to serve, the world needs you. We have been going through some turmoil of late. And so the world needs people who can step forward and become the shining light, as we like to say. So today we want to talk about reaching out to connections, to your network, to build out that network. Look, you want to be a speaker, you want to be a coach, an entrepreneur. You need people around you. And that's what we're building here in Beacon of Leadership. We're building that network. So in order to become something more, we need to reach out to our followers, to our network. And not just our internal network, but anybody who might be of value, who we want to reach out to, who will elevate our game. So that's something I read in John Maxwell's No Limits. He calls it the power of proximity. And the idea is get next to 10 people who can help you level up. And so that's what I've been focusing on. So Curtis, if you want to bring up that, first of all, while you do that, Linda, what's your thoughts on this principle of reaching out to your network?
Well, I really want to say that it's so important that everyone realize that you can't do things in a vacuum. You need other people to do it. And, putting yourself out there in your network, a lot of times you will share something that you're working on and the passion will speak for itself. And, people love to help other people. And so if you're not putting out your passion in a way where you're asking for other people to help you, then you're missing out on what could be. You're missing out on the help that you could have coming in. So whether they're that person that helps you directly or they know as someone who can. I don't know how many people have given me support when I said, I'm working on XYZ, or I have a passion for something. And they're like, oh, I know a person, I'll connect you. My network has grown exponentially because I'm not afraid of saying I need support in an area. I ask, I receive. And so this whole idea around the Dream 100 idea that we're going to get into, that Curtis is going to take us down, it's just another avenue or a tool to get us there.
Absolutely. And that's another thing too, is with that book I was reading, No Limits by John Maxwell, in the very same page, he says, I always, when I'm done with somebody, like when I built a relationship with somebody, those people, those network connections, when I built a relationship with somebody, I asked them at some point during our conversation, who do you know that I should know? In other words, who else can I put into my network who I can help grow, who's going to help take me to that next level? And so asking that, you know what, you build out that network. And then I love that you said, I ask and I receive, right? We often forget. That's Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield. They have a program called the Aladdin Factor.
Oh.
And that's about, hey, rubbing that magic lamp, right? Ask and you shall receive. We sometimes forget that. We don't know that we can do that. So there's two things we're going to talk about here today. The first one, well, we're going to show some people how they can further connect with people like these people on this list Curtis has put up here for us. Curtis, you want to talk us through your list, why you created it, and how these people can be helpful to us?
No, actually, this list is just like big, hairy, audacious goals that people I would like to meet. There's some here that will actually be highly difficult to get to, but guys put on the list just to make it so. Obviously, Grant Cardone, which I spelled wrong.
Don't worry about this. Don't worry about the spelling mistakes. We'll ignore those for the moment.
It's just like, how you do something, you just like get it down on the paper.
Yeah. Listen, and that's the thing too.
Or
don't worry
on the
about spelling
document.
mistakes when you're writing out something like this. Just write those names down. You know who they are. You can figure out the spell check after.
This is supposed to be Derek Brown, The Motley Fool, which is actually a finance thing I like.
Yeah.
Mike Chaplain, Robin Sharma is one of my favorite.
I want Robin Sharma in our network. There's no doubt about that. He's
Sure.
a master of leaders. He's taught me a lot.
Yeah.
We are going to
Couple books,
connect with him, and we're connected with him. By one degree of separation. So we're gonna reach out and build that.
I think we know some people that know him or have had him on their stage before. So
yep,
that's a possibility. Tim Ferriss, Far Work Week guy, just finished that on my Audible. Pretty cool.
He taught a lot of people how to get into this thought leadership business, how to build a
early
business.
2000.
Yep.
Brene Brown, she's pretty popular. She's awesome.
Oh, and we're going to reach out to her too. There's no doubt about that. She has taught. She can teach the world how to be just a little bit more open and vulnerable. That's a skill we need here.
Yep. Lord Shen, this is Tiny Buddha. It's one of the websites I use for inspiration and stuff. Same as Zen Habits.
Yeah, I remember her.
Maybe those people are good too. Joshua Becker, Joel Brown. He's pretty awesome too. So I think he's Christian. I think Joel Brown.
Yeah.
I think so. And then Michael Hyatt, I haven't heard much from him for a long time.
What does he teach? He teaches
he's like a leadership
teaching people how to do like marketing, affiliate marketing, that sort of stuff, right?
I think it's more like different. I think it's
anyways, I think
like
you got
leadership.
here. I just mentioned these names. Is that supposed to be Mark Victor Hansen?
Mark, yeah, probably.
And
Mark
then
Manson.
Jack Canfield you got down
Yep.
there. So
Yep.
again, we saw Jack Canfield. I saw Jack Canfield
Couple
speak on
times.
stage.
Yep. I've seen it a few times. I actually had lunch with him one time.
I'm in Mark Victor Hansen's circle, and of course,
cool.
Chicken Soup for the Soul. Who hasn't heard of that book? So
How many of them do you own?
I don't own not even one.
Really? I have Chicken Soup for Canadian Soul.
No, I get articles sent to me on the regular, so I read them from the articles. I don't actually have the books.
And I think I have Chicken Soup for the Soul, the first one that came out. It's signed actually from him, from Jack Canfield.
Got you. So run down the list a little further. See who else we got on this list that might be.
Ramit Smith is I Want You to Be Rich. He's pretty cool.
We don't have to read everyone, but just kind of run through the list. Lewis Howes. I love that one. The Greatness School. We got to get in touch with him.
Yeah, he's hard to get hold of. And he's very expensive.
Evan Carmichael, the Believe Nation.
Yep, he's a Toronto boy. He's awesome.
Word.
Yep, he's a Toronto guy. He's actually very good. He has a lot of free stuff.
Yep.
I follow him on Discord right now. So he's on there. It's pretty cool.
Todd Herman. There's a name that doesn't come up very often. Yeah, he's also Your Superpower. I think I got hit one of his books called Your Superpower.
Okay.
Which is, he talks about when he's on stage, how Clark Kent wears the glasses, but you take them off and he's Superman. You know what I mean?
So, alter ego,
Yeah, the alter ego effect. That's it. The alter ego effect.
Yeah. And then John
Lee Dumas, the entrepreneur.
Yeah, he's a podcast guy, On Fire or something.
Yeah, Entrepreneur on Fire. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Brandon Bouchard is an awesome guy. Brian Tracy, Michael Tracy.
Yeah, and we're connected to him. I'm a direct connection of Michael Tracy. And while Brian Tracy is not going to be around very much longer, you know what I mean? Hey, he might be here another 10 years. I'm speaking out of term, right? Yep. But he's not in the position to teach as much anymore. So now Michael has obviously learned a lot of lessons from him.
Yeah, I
And
remember
we're
at
gonna,
lunch we had with him. At
yeah, what a great guy. What a great
super duper.
conversationalist. He's certainly very knowledgeable. And we've had lunch with him. We
Yep.
know he's in our circle.
Yep.
What
He's
about Ty
awesome.
Lopez? I haven't heard from him in
Ty
a while.
Lopez, he does other stuff, crypto, whatnot, and other things. I guess he just goes in the background
That's
now.
the 67 steps, right?
It's something, I think so. He has a bunch of programs out there.
That was his first one, was the 67
But he was
steps.
one of
So,
those guys that always showed like Lamborghinis, nice houses.
yeah.
He never
And you can
owned it,
have this if you do this, right? Yeah.
but it was never. Most people just made fun of him because it was never possible.
Yep.
But that's just limited thinking, right? You always
So-
get close to what you want. You never exactly.
You've got Dale Carnegie down
Yep.
here. How is that possible?
Why not?
How can we connect with Dale Carnegie?
They still have the Society of Dale Carnegie, so you can do something.
So that's
with
what you're
the,
talking about. I
yeah.
thought we were going to do some seances and have a
channeling
conversation.
a channel evening with bring back Dale Carnegie.
I'm going to tell you this. Technically, I mean, if you read his books or anything like that,
Yep.
you could do one of those meditation sessions where you visualize him and have a conversation with him, right?
Yep.
So Warren Buffett, again, another guy who
Yep.
might not be around very long, but certainly, I mean, hey.
One of the greatest investors in the world.
And then
Smart.
I love your last one on here.
And Nick Siegel, yep. It's one of my favorite. I've done lots of his courses. I've been following him since 2008.
Have you done any of his paid courses?
Yes, I did the inbox blueprint and then digital publishing.
Got you. Because he has what? It's got to be 100 or more courses on the
yeah.
Learn Nation
Just free
platform.
stuff too, right? So.
Yeah, and I've taken a lot of the free stuff. I think I purchased one course from him. But again, even the free content. Oh my God, guys, go out there and check out Learn Nation. If you want to learn anything, it's Learn Nation. Look it up. If you want to learn anything about the business world, digital marketing, affiliate marketing, and so much more, personal development, it's all, he's got it all on his website. So, so I love that list.
Yeah. And then my good friend Talman Knudsen, he is the email marketer and hypnosis. He's like top notch. I did a course, was it earlier this year? I did $5,000.
So you see, we're connected to some of these people, you know what I mean? Yep. And then there are some that are, maybe a bit lofty. Grant Cardone, Marie Forleo, you know what I mean? Tony Robbins. I mean, but the whole point of this, I think, is don't eliminate anything. Oh, I like they got Vishen Lakiani there.
Yep.
The Mind Valley, and I'll tell you why, is because this platform we're building it based on what I've learned about Mind Valley. And I'd love to be able to put the same type of platform together. So we're building that off of this. So tell us, how can these people help us? What can they do for us? And why should we bother connecting with them?
I think that it's just an influence, more or less. They can help you with if you know someone and they're on your podcast or in your ads and stuff like that people assume or maybe think that you're more closer than you actually are. And they just help you get further ahead. But some of these people here are, you may know someone like Lewis Howes. He has other people who he knows. So we might get in touch with someone like, say, whoever else, maybe a bit lower in the hierarchy of trying to get a hold of people, might be more open to us coming on the podcast or whatever, right? And then eventually what happens, people are like, oh, hey, this guy did it with this. It's like, hey, I did a podcast with so-and-so. Hey, would you come out and be on my podcast? And sometimes they just say yes.
Absolutely.
Right? You just don't know.
And if you've ever watched Lewis Howes, I mean, he's connected with just about everybody. I know he's done interviews with Tony Robbins. I know he's interviewed Robin Sharma, and so many more of these.
Maybe that's something we should start doing. Do more interviews with people here on the list. Just ask them to come out.
Absolutely, that's the idea, right? That's to entice them to join us and be a part of our network and connect with us, teach us, learn from the masters, right? So that's what the point of
stop sharing then.
Sure, go ahead. That's the point of the Greatness School, which is Lewis Howes training platform. So, Linda, what'd you think of that? Was that a great conversation? Did we teach a little bit?
Oh, I was thinking about there's more names that we can add. So we just, Curtis just started and I was thinking of names too. And now you made a good point where some of the people you might put on your list, you might think that they're untouchable or they're too high up there. Not always. Sometimes you never know if you can reach out or there's somebody that's in that second or third degree it's associated. And you know what? They're in that community. They're in that thought leadership space. And so chances are, if they're in that space, they may listen to that influencer's principles, ideas, processes, or things that they do. And so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If they're in that sphere of influence, you could meet some individuals and start networking. I've done it several times. I've surprised myself sometimes. You reach out to somebody in those circles and you end up finding out that they end up sharing some networking of names that are part of their influence, and you just never know where it can go. I can think of on my hand right now some people that I was speaking to today, that's how it started off. It started off, I was working for an influencer, learned how to do some marketing, and then they introduced me to 5 or 6 other people, and they're in my network today, and they're still introducing me to people that I should know, and we're helping each other to grow and expand other communities, other projects, other things that need to go out in the world. And so don't sell yourself short and think that you can't get to know some people in those circles, because you can.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put out one. So Curtis, you sent us a resource that we should look into recently, and this is not an affiliate promotion. We're not connected with them, but I want people to know about it. Where'd he go? We lost him. So contactanycelebrity.com. And the reason, look, it's, again, these people are not out of our realm of reach, right? So, I mean, Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone, we want to find them. Perhaps this company, contactanycelebrity.com. Now, it is a monthly subscription, so perhaps you use it as that resource. So you reach, you give it to your VA or something like that, right? Like you can use it to connect with people. And, maybe you use it for a month or 2, reach out to a dozen celebrities, cancel the subscription. So it's one of those cancel anytime type deals. So just wanted to throw that out there for people. So there's a way to connect and to build that network. So speaking of our networks, we were joined by one person in our network today. I'd love to hear from her because she is a supporter of ours. She is a beacon in her own right, a beacon nominee. We're proud to have her in our community. Tammy, thank you for joining us tonight. And tell us what you think of our topic. We're talking about the Dream 100, I think you saw that list. Tell us about, do you have anything like that? And do you see the value in it?
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you so much for letting me come back.
Anytime. You are welcome.
God.
Anytime.
You know what it's like when you're a mom and you're trying to do so many different things. I don't like the word try, when you are doing things, and I get to do them. So that's how I look at it. So yeah, so the list that you have, I think it's fantastic. And I come from a sales background. So we had, and always still do right now, have a fear list. Or that list that's a bit warmer. People said, oh, it's a cold call. Everything really is a cold call because you have to make a connection. So I think that's fantastic. Making a commitment to yourselves of how many people you're going to reach weekly, monthly, whatever it is, and make yourself accountable for that. And just not to give up, because there is that thing where sometimes we don't get the person right away. Sometimes it just sits there. But I do believe in being persistent without being annoying. There's a difference. And a lot of people don't know what that is. They're still trying to figure that out. The texting, the word, the content, and the person has to feel your intentions. They have to feel your energy, because sometimes it's not just a phone call, and sometimes it's email, and sometimes there's even more than that. And so it's a lost art. We don't have the days anymore where everyone's around each other, shaking hands, smell your cologne, smell your perfume, and they can see how everyone responds when you walk in the room. That's a beautiful thing. So now you just have to, add the word big up, beacon of leadership, and why they'd want to participate and share more about who the audience is and that kind of thing. So it's almost like a telemarketing role, if you would say, because you have to give them the WIFM, the best radio station in the world. What's in it for me? Right? And I also do believe in knowing that person. Like, it's not just so much that we can just call people. We have to have intention in the reason why we're calling them, but know a little bit more about them. So when you're sharing Beacon the leadership, or we're sharing our events or whatever the case may be, we have to know a little bit more about them and then bring those points into that conversation, as opposed to just saying, blah, 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 whatever, you're this person, this is our audience. No, that might not be enough. And even though people like to give their time, they also want to know, the other things to it. And I do think it's a great idea. I absolutely. And I'm fearless. So, I'll call people up asking for money for a charity. I don't care. Whether they're going to say no, but it's really similar to a marketing strategy, right?
Yep.
You'd have to have some type of scripting, wording. And
Yep.
then the other thing too, that people don't realize, if the person that received the callback or the email or the text response is not equipped enough to make it continue, that can be lost.
Yes.
So it's not, basically, it can't be done by everyone, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
You are the light, and you have to make sure you put the protocol in place of what you want people to say. And even though you have your own personalities, all of us, it still has to come across, like the main things have to come across each and every time. Nothing can be missed.
Yeah.
So if they speak to you, they got the same information, but in your words, that they would get from Curtis, they would get from Linda. And it doesn't matter who they talk to. It's like going to McDonald's all through Canada or the US. It's the same thing, the same fries, the same thing, one pickle, tomato. I love food.
Wow. You just gave me an idea for another topic, which is the playbook, because, and that's Grant Cardone. He has a playbook that he writes and he gives to people. He says, look, if you can't sell it to people, then don't even bother. Why are you trying? Like, if you can't tell people what it is you're doing, if you're afraid to tell people this, why try? And then, like you say, we're still working on the wording. We've been building this out for several months. We're working on the actual script, right? What do we tell people so that I can have these conversations? Look, this is my vision. I can tell people what this is all about, but I don't have the wording all down. We've been working on these, taglines and things like that, and what we're working on, so that Linda can have the same conversation, Curtis can have the same conversation, but we're working on building out a sales team and people who can reach out and have these conversations for us. These people need to know what to say and how to say it, so that, and even be empowered to carry on, like you say, to carry on that conversation, to take it a little further and maybe make decisions that, so that they don't have to come running back to us, to the team, and say, well, I've talked to this person, here's what they told me, because there takes another 15 to 30 minutes to explain that before you can say, oh yeah, go ahead. Right.
Yeah.
So empowering your people too is a big thing. So I love that. Thank you very much. And then I know I also we were talking about the magic lamp, because I'm listening to Mark Victor Hansen. You know what? Be fearless. Be a master asker is what Mark Victor Hansen says. So you know what? Go out there and ask those people. Reach out to people and who can we use? Who can we not use in the sense that I'm going to take advantage, but who can help us elevate our game? Who can give us that status? Who can give us that deep, intimate connection with their audience, with their network, with other people who are going to be able to serve in the same way we do. So I love that. Thank you very much.
Have you heard of the book called The Ask Method?
Sorry?
The Ask Method.
That is, what is that? Ryan Levesque.
I think so.
Yeah. And there's another name who's not on our list, right? So there are, like, we could drop names for another 30 minutes to say the least. But yeah, so that's the idea. In the Dream 100 is don't be afraid to reach out. And so I will tell two things. First of all, you mentioned that they're all cold calls, right? So have your script ready, have it what you're going to say, so that because there's nothing wrong with cold calls if you're going to, handle it correctly. First of all, ask the person if this is a good time to speak. Because, you may start getting into your pitch and the guy goes, oh, well, I'm kind of busy right now. And, I don't have the time for this. And he just wants to let you go. So you don't have a connection there. You don't have an opportunity to actually speak. And then I don't know about you, but we're getting inundated with texts, messenger conversations. And so I get those cold reach outs where, oh, I see you're on my platform in this community, and I just thought I'd reach out. And then they start their whole pitch. about we can help you with this and we need to have a conversation. You don't know me. Why are you trying to tell me this? So you saw my profile in this Facebook group. What does that mean to me?
That's
I don't know
outreach.
you.
That's
Sorry?
Eric. That's cold outreach in Facebook. That's what they call it.
Absolutely, but is it effective? It
It
can
depends
be
on who's
if you do it
asking you.
right. Like Tammy mentioned, this is why I brought it to our attention, is that look, you need to take that time to build rapport, to get to know the person. That takes, 4, 5, 6, 10 exchanges to get to know the person. What do they do? Why are they in this? What connections do you have? What themes do you have in common? You need to get to know a person and then go, you know what? I think our program would be really great for you. I could help you with this in this manner. Do you want to have a conversation about that? And you know what? I will say on numerous occasions, I've said, no, that doesn't interest me. You know what I mean? It's not something we're going to utilize. It doesn't make sense to have a conversation. But quite often, when they take the time to have built that relationship, and it's not a personal relationship, we just got to know each other over texting. But when they take the time to get to know you and interact with you on a more intimate level than just, well, here's my business and here's how I can help you. Well, that doesn't serve me. It doesn't suit me. It doesn't help me in any way. I'm not interested in you. Take some time to get interested. Take some time to get to know the people you're going to serve. And then maybe, are you a good fit? Do you have an opportunity to serve? So I think that's all I have to say on this topic tonight. Does anybody have anything to add? Tammy, I'd love to hear your feedback.
I do. The other thing too is the tone of voice. So the message that someone leaves, whether it be in text or email or the sound. Look, we're not great at everything. Let's be honest here. So you're going to come across people who volunteer to do certain things for the Beacon of Leadership, and they're not the right person. So then it's going to be your jobs as the leaders, which you are, to place them where they can be the beneficial use to you, and also themselves. There's a whole thing about this. People volunteer, and usually the people that offer to cook something for a family dinner are the ones that shouldn't be cooking. They should just bring the pop and the bread and the chips. So it's the same thing in a business corporation. Same thing. You got people volunteering to. You're not the best at this, so let's move you somewhere else. So and something that used to help myself when I first started doing sales was a lady that managed. She was the manager, and she gave us all a mirror that we kept by our phone. And then when I started to train salespeople, I had them do the same thing. So you could leave a message, and then someone else gave the exact same information you said, but the energy from the next person or you is going to be who they gravitate towards, right? I'm not always a fan of asking, is it a great time to speak with you? Because I've just given them a way out.
No doubt, you do.
Yeah,
but then you say, okay, when would be a better time to follow up?
Yeah,
right? And then now it's your obligation to follow up.
Yeah, I'd rather give them something to wet their ear a bit.
Hey, absolutely.
And then say, is this a good time? Because you know what I mean? Because I haven't even got a chance to tell them, sprinkle any salt or pepper on anything yet. And then, so I'd like to give them a little bit something so that they're left, okay, well, no, I can't talk, but what you said, let me give you a call back. Right? So there's, and it's like we said, the script, have the script. I think it's great. I can talk about this all day long.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I wasn't giving away the script today. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. You know what? You need to have it written out so that you know what you're saying to people and practice it.
And practice it on each other.
Practice it. Absolutely. Practice
like, would you call
times.
yourself? Would you respond to yourself? would you answer this message yourself? Like,
would I hang up on me during this conversation?
Yeah, like
absolutely.
This email, like I just got something last week, an email, and then the subject line said access revoked. So the first thing that I thought, oh shoot, different bank accounts, insurance, what's going on? We have a lot of things going on. Look, things get overlooked. And guess what it was? They were trying to offer me some training.
Yep.
Poor subject line.
Oh, but was it? You were talking about wetting the whistle, right?
No, it was a bad one because you know why it was bad for me? Because it made me scared about something that was more important than the training that they offer. So I contacted them. I emailed again, got no response. So then what I did was I did a search and I just online
And
find
found their
5
customer
different people
support.
within that company and I emailed every single one. I left messages with all 5 of them. What happened is that someone got fed up that this lady just called again. Someone reached out to her. I was very nice and I told him it was a really poor subject line. And I don't know what your opens are, but I don't imagine it would be that great. But have you ever thought of changing it to something like this instead? So it was just a conversation. I'm not sure what'll happen from it, but I just wanted them to let them know. And I actually asked 10 different people how they would react to this here subject line. And
Yeah.
every person said the same thing. They thought it had something to do with a bank account.
Yeah,
They didn't think
right.
it was anything to do with training.
So at the very worst, you're probably going to open it because you want to look what's going on. What, I got to check this. Is my bank account closed? Did I lost this membership? So you're going to check it. But then, are you going to respond to something when you find out that they just scammed you pretty much? And by the way, for people out there, don't forget there's a lot of people who are scammers out there who will use this
That's
kind of
just it.
subject line. We get taken because the CRA is contacting us about a refund. We get contacted because the police want to arrest us, or don't forget that you're a beneficiary and I'll send you $7 million. And don't forget, your account is closed. If you'll just click here to verify your information. So people get taken because of subject lines just like
Mhm,
this. So yeah, thank you for that one because that led into a topic that people need to hear about. So yeah, again, any other thoughts? Because that was some good information for people out there on how they can connect. I love that.
I guess the list, like I would like to help you guys in that, you know, to work together to see what are the things that we could formulate as a discussion point, because there is no, they even have clothing now, one size fits most. And for people to think that marketing is for the same for everyone, it's not. So, a Greg Cardone or Grant Cardone, I think it is, you can't give him the same thing you're going to talk to Arlene Dickinson about,
Yes.
and Barbara Corcoran, they're two different people, 3 different people. So there has to be some other thing that can be given them, celebrity or not. And even the people who are up and coming, forget about the celebrities, each of us have a huge network. So, we can draw from our own networks. There's thousands of people. Who cares? We have to be before we become. Right? And we all
Yes.
know someone who's better than us, many people that are better than me. And I want to be just as great as them, if not better. And some of them are trying to make me better than them, So who do they know? Like you said already, Linda, like how many people can they connect you to? That's what it's all about. I sent a message to someone today about a project I'm working on. And my intention was really for her to participate in it. But her response was, how can I help you? So guess what? There's a whole list of things going to go to her of how she can help. She offered.
Absolutely.
I want to tap into
Way to
her
go.
network. She's got
Yep.
thousands of people that go to her events all the time. So something will have to happen.
And there's a way to reach out to your network too, right? Don't just think, okay, I need this. Here's what I need from you. No, how can I help you?
Right.
Because now you've opened them up going, wait a minute. Oh, I could use this, or I could use, if I could have somebody do this, or how many people in your network do you know? You know what I mean? So it opens up the possibility because you're here to serve them. You're not just here to ask for your favor. You're here to
No.
serve them. Now, when it comes time, they're more willing to be on your podcast, to be at your event, to share with your network, to teach, right? So the opportunities are boundless because you've served them first.
Right. And I love what you said about, multiple times it will take to get someone, because that is the true reality of it. And as many methods and of communication there is, we should be using all of them.
Yes.
You
So
know?
speaking of that, look, you've used this communication with me multiple times. Is look, Messenger has this wonderful little thing where we just press on that little microphone in the side there, and we can send it with our voice and say, "Hi, Tammy, how are you doing today? I loved what you said on that post." You know what I mean? Let's talk about that. I'd love to get deeper into this conversation, right? You sent me one the other day, how you're a fan of mine. I love what you're doing. You know how that made me feel? And now that, look, I had to respond, right? So, and I responded in kind, and a game changer. right there in the communication
Yeah,
method.
we can get creative. Like I leave a lot of voicemail, video as well. That's another way of doing it. Not to be creepy, not to be a stalker. I'll send a message first, say, "Hey, RJ, I'm going to send you a quick video," and then I send the video so they don't say this face all of a sudden. Whoa, that's a shocker.
And so what is that video? Because I've seen this before. So what is that video that you would send?
It depends because everyone's different. So I
Right.
would send a little video to, at first I send a text message first.
Yeah.
Hi, RJ, I've seen blah, 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 whatever the case may be. I'm going to send you a quick video, and then the video comes. So it's more personal. So they can see my eyes and feel my energy more because I don't want to take 9 months. I want to actually collapse the time frame that it would normally take because, the warm and fuzziness can come out more in the video. And also to set myself apart because again, speaking to 50 people, I just did this 2 months ago. How many people get a video message? And the answer was 8 out of 50 told me they got a video message. So that right there told me that those 8 people are in those people's minds. But no, we can't look like we just rolled out of bed.
Absolutely.
But,
Timing is everything.
Well, if the person has kids, you can say, "Here, I'm here with my son, but I just wanted to reach out to you. We're both family people, whatever the case may be. You like boats. I'm out there on the yard right now, going down to the lake. There's something like you said to relate to.
Yes.
I noticed that you posted something about cooking. Guess what? I'm cooking too. And I just thought if I would give you a message, like, there's so many different things.
Yes, build that connection. Absolutely. So speaking of which, Linda, you just put in something in the chat that I saw. I would love to hear you expand on that just a little more.
Yes, and actually, Tammy is saying it, and it's all about establishing that emotional connection. And you don't always have a script to it. People can read the script, and sending out something in a way that you would want to respond to it. So if you wouldn't respond to what you're sending, probably the other person on the other side's not either. And I'm thinking about how I usually can tune into somebody, like she was saying, it could be a voice video, it could be a voice, it could be a video, it could be a certain thing that you say that triggers another person's emotional connection to you. And I'm thinking about the different interactions I just had today. I wanted to bring somebody in on something, and I mentioned something that evoked a thought. They wrote back and said, "Oh my gosh, you just thought about the thing that I was referencing, and by the way, could you help me do this thing?" So it was kind of like a back and forth volley. And if you're trying to establish that emotional connection, doing it from a genuine place, that's when it magically happens. If you're trying to establish emotional connection, trying to follow a script or say the right thing, people can see the difference. And so not everyone can do this type of emotional connection in a genuine way and get those results. So you have to really mean it. So don't try to do this emotional connection, reach out unless you are really meaning it, because people can see through that too. And so
Absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And also too, what I use as well, for some people that don't have a relationship with, is if I can see stuff that they're doing on social media, knowing that, they're building wealth. A lot of people give you clues, or, you can see their bio and see the different things that they're doing. And even some of the posts that they actually write. I will even make a comment. Like I did this to 10 people. I'm starting this week, and gave them some tips from the marketing side of things. Not sure if you guys are aware of this, but here's what I know about the statistics, not me, but the statistics out there. And it was just a list of the top social media platforms. And then I made a joke. The reason why these are my 7, because they said billion plus users, and I love the B. Right. So, and I did a little emoji with the money symbol, right? And I had 3 or 4 people respond to that, like jokingly, and then saying thank you so much for that, because they didn't realize the number of users attached to some of the platforms. And 2 platforms you don't really hear about that much: WeChat, and people don't even realize that TikTok is really huge. So people are talking about LinkedIn and Facebook, and that's great, but they don't realize the YouTube and all this, how important it is. So that was just my little way of making a little bit of an icebreaker without selling them anything. not knowing if you're aware of it, but hey, I thought I would share this because I see you're doing so much, just so I will let you know. And if you're like me, you're gonna like the B because it starts with, it's billion. I said this,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the connection that builds, right? Instantly. You've got their attention and they want to know more about you, and they may go look at your social media profile to see what you're doing.
right.
And oh my God, I love what she's offering. Now they comment to you or send you a private message. So there's how you build those connections. So absolutely. Don't forget. Look, we created this dream, or we talked about our Dream 100.
Mhm.
Because look, nobody's out of your realm of possibility. If they're within your network or your sphere of influence, and they're doing the work that is similar to you, or that are on your radar, right? If you're focused in personal development, well, Grant Cardone is about money and millions, but he talks about personal development. He talks about growth. He talks about sales. He talks about opportunities. So don't forget, these people are not out of our realm of possibility. That's why we talked about that. But look, Tammy, you're part of our network. You're a fan of ours. You know what we're working on. Don't forget. So I always say, look, when you're part of Beacon of Leadership, you don't just get me. You don't just get Linda. You don't just get Curtis. By the way, we're three powerful people who are, have connections ourselves and doing some great work. But we have people like yourself, Tammy, and so many others. We have 100. I know I have 100 or 200 people who could be of service if I could be of service to them, right? So don't forget that these are people in our network that we already have a personal touch with. We have that emotional connection. So build it out. We're gonna have a conversation, Tammy. We've already talked about that. And in that conversation, I'm gonna ask you this one question that you've already mentioned, and I mentioned it earlier because it's on the Aladdin factor, or no, it's in John Maxwell's book. Is that, who do you know that I should know? Don't forget to ask that of people, because like Tammy says, you know what? We each have hundreds of people within our network. If I can get connected with another 5 people from Tammy's network, wow, what about the value in that? So don't forget, these people are people that already know, like, and trust us.
Yep.
So by sending, Mark Maynard, he's, again, a fan of mine. I'm a fan of his. We support each other. And he sent me somebody the other day saying, this person is really great, that you need to talk to them. This is what I'm talking about. You know what? You build connections with people and they'll help build connections for you.
Perfect. Probably roll up soon there, Gene.
Yep. So again, that's final thoughts. You know what I mean? We've talked about this for a while, and I've said all I can say on the subject without being redundant. So final thoughts from Tammy, Curtis. Or sorry, Linda. Tammy, you've had a lot to say too. Thank you for your input. No final thoughts. So I could wrap this up.
Just remember to ask that question. Who else do I need to know that you can refer me to? Always say that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Build out that network. And that's what we're talking about. So Curtis, what about you?
I think the Dream 100 works. So lots of top entrepreneurs have used it and it works well. So if we start implementing it, I think we'll get ahead as well.
And do you have another message for people out there that I love to hear?
Just subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, and so you get notified when we go live.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Another wonderful episode on the Beacon podcast. Please join us again next week. We're actually going to interview one of our beacons, Suzanne Plumley, beacon of women's autistic enriched lifestyle. It's a hard one to get, but we've worked on that. So we know who she is. She's going to talk about her life and her journey, and what made her want to help empower autistic women. She's an amazing person, filled with knowledge, filled with wisdom. And I can't wait for people to meet her. Well, you've already met her. Please, by the way, check out our video from January 21st, where we introduced our beacons. On our YouTube channel. Like Curtis says, don't forget to like and subscribe, and then look through our videos, because that episode of it's a 5.5 hour broadcast, but again, so empowering. I was energetic the entire day, so I hope you guys would be watching it too. So thank you for joining us. Until next time, better days ahead.
Take care.